Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Good morning. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Happy Friday. Oh, my God. Why does it feel like it should be like next Wednesday right now? But hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, guys. Let's not forget that. We have got some things we've got to get into. It's not going to be a super long show. I mean, we're pretty late in the show, like pretty late in the day. So it's not going to be a super epic show for right now. I may come back on a little later on tonight. I don't know. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We shall see. It just depends on the time I got. Okay? Because things just keep on getting insane and crazy out here in these streets. What I'm going to tell you guys, though, is that we are going to be kind of doing a little bit of a multi-tiered show, you know, a multi-realmed show. We're going to be doing the Lord of the Rings, okay? The Lort, or the Lotter. You know what I'm saying. Okay, we're going to be doing the Lord of the Rings today. We're going to be hopping into some spots. We're going to be going into true crime. We're going to be doing a little pop culture. We're going to be doing some conversations about what's going on overseas, because we do have to talk about that, because that matters too, dag nabbit. But we are going to get into the main meat and potatoes first, for sure. So please do me a favor. Before we get into everything, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on them mugs, mother lover. So make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Do not forget to subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, dag nabbit. If y'all, wait, hold on. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, this main channel right here, you missing out on some things. You missing out on some entertainment and information. Okay? So the what? Subscribe. Please and thank you. Okay? Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there. Subscribe over there. Okay? Hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random as hell. Okay? It's random as hell. And it's whenever I get time to get in front of this damn camera and in this purple ass room. It's not really purple, it's more like a navy blue with purple lights. But you get what I'm saying, dag nabbit. Okay? Everything all cockeyed and cockeyed titties. Anyway, make sure you hit that notification bell, set it to all, so you know whenever I go live and whenever I upload. Make sure you hit that join button down below. I know we just had a new member just join, I think, or happy days. I think you're re-upping, but thank you so much for becoming a member. Perfect opportunity to say, hit that join button, man. Everybody hit that join button. Become a member right now. To hell. Seriously, we got some really great stuff. Okay, we do good stuff here. Support the channel if you can. Okay, hit that Patreon if you want to support even further. It's going at snail crawl pace across the screen, the bottom of the screen as we speak. So go check out that Patreon. And of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Yes, pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out, pascalmerch.com. Okay, all righty then. Let's get into this conversation. Okay, we got a lot going on, and there's a lot to talk about. Now, yesterday was absolutely crazy, okay, when it comes to the D4vd situation, okay? Now, let me just say this. I've said this already a million times before, but I'm going to say it again really quick. David's cooked. Oh, he is so cooked. He is so freaking cooked. Like, I would curse, but I'm not trying to curse. I know it's Friday. We could be a little bit more loosey-goosey. It's casual Friday. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are wearing your best, like, jeans and your sneakers at work right now. Your best polo shirts. Okay? Let's be real. You know who you are. All right? But I would curse, but I'm not going to curse right now. The man is done. Yeah, creep show. The man is done. Stick a fork in him because he is done. He's beyond cooked. There is no nutrients left in his body. He is charcoal. That's how overly cooked he is. He's beyond well done, y'all. He ain't even worth to be dog food. That's how screwed he is. That's how cooked he is. Now, there's a lot of things that we learned yesterday, okay? Some really nasty, disgusting things that happened. And, of course, we got to talk about it, okay? We learned about the copious amounts of CP that he had on his person. Apparently, it was on his phone, and God knows where else he had this stuff. But nonetheless, it's pretty bad stuff being found out, all right? Like, this is the reason why we continually say over and over and over again how cooked he is, how far gone and how screwed he really, really is. Now, I talked about this in a pop-up video, just a recent video I just put up. This is the reason why I say make sure you have those notification bells turned on and set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, I get in here, I try to get you guys information, and I go and do my crazy day. And then I get in here, try to squeeze in, at least an hour of a live stream with you guys. Sometimes I'm lucky to have a continuous live stream where it's uninterrupted, where I can just go for 4 hours and go 4 hours straight. But sometimes we get busy and life gets in the way, and you try to squeeze in as best as you can. We talked about this. We had a conversation. We put it in a pop-up video, a standalone video earlier today. So make sure that notification bell is set to all, okay? So you don't miss out on these conversations, because we're not going to dive too deep into this conversation right here. This ish right here. We ain't going to dive too deep into this, but I'm telling you right now, this is very telling. In fact, I got a question. Because I could have sworn maybe it was SF Investigates that revealed this information, maybe not. But I've been trying to find some info out here because I want to relive the conversation, some of these revelations that came out over the past several months, talking about David. This is some information that I didn't even cover on the show, but I remember consuming it, seeing it with my own two eyes. And SF Investigates talks about it right here with Jesse Weber. Now, we circled around this conversation in the early video that I dropped this morning. I just want to circle back on that piece, just so we could talk about the one piece in here that's very shocking. First off, before we get into it, and just in case you're late to the party, there's another victim. There's another victim out there of D4vd. I want to make that abundantly clear. Allegedly, there is another mother-loving victim. Now, of course, this is information that we're hearing from a private investigator. We got to take it with a grain of salt, but I believe him. I believe this information. And I think this information is absolutely insane, because there's some more information that he says in this video that we need to circle back and watch one more time so we could just see it and get that bee in our bonnet. Okay? So let's take a listen to this piece one more again, shall we?
To you, other information, because I understand you allegedly have proof that David was allegedly involved with other minors?
Boom. Okay.
Yeah, and I've brought that up before. So this wasn't a big surprise when, Beth said the word child porn 3 or 4 times today. And she was really, I agree with Mark, there's a lot of posturing going on here. She was really trying to get that out there. But I have another minor that I've been in touch with for months that sent me photographic evidence of her and David at the rental house, which was an illegal relationship.
Okay. Now, first and foremost, let me just say this, okay? Now, there's some things that I said in my pop-up video that I'm going to say again. So I'm sorry if I sound like I'm repeating myself, but I do want to make this abundantly clear. There is speculation that D4vd had another rental, like he was renting another house somewhere else. Now, I haven't found the information. I've been scouring the internet, trying to find that piece of information. But that piece of information is out there. People have talked about him actually having another home, another house that Celeste and other people allegedly lived at. Now, again, I don't remember. That's the problem. I don't remember if that was a place that was, that SF Investigates is the one that that unearthed this information, or if this is, or how I got that information. How I got this, I don't know. Through osmosis, I guess that information came out. I don't know where it came from, but I'm trying to find out where that is, okay? Because I want to see it for myself as well, so we could talk about it too. But here's the thing. he said that this minor was also staying at the rental. Now, that could mean the second rental that D4vd allegedly had, where some of his friends and Celeste were staying at, or the actual Hollywood Hills rental that he had. Okay? It's very, very interesting. Nurse Janice, I already know. I'm already this. That's why I said the timeline. That's why I said in the title of the show. You know what I'm saying? I said in the title of the show, timeline. So don't worry, we're gonna get there. Okay, we're gonna get there. So here's the thing. Question: could she have been this other minor, this other little? Could she have been staying at this other rental with the likes of Celeste? And there's some other questions I've had where I'm sitting there going like, maybe, could it possibly be that he was trying to create his own little messed up Little's harem? I know that's not, no, hold on. I know that sounds really disgusting and really messed up, but think about that. That he was trying to create his own demented version of like the Bunny Ranch, or like like the Playboy Bunny House mansion or something like that. Like he would just go there, can do what he pleases with these littles, etc. Blah blah blah. I hate to put that image in your minds, but think about that for a second. If he actually had another rental, because apparently he owned properties, in Texas, etc. Could it be that he was luring these people in, grooming and all that, finding them on Fortnite or something of that sort, Minecraft or whatever the hell? I think isn't it Roblox is the spot that allegedly monsters are lurking, trying to reach out to youngins through Roblox. So again, first things first, most important piece of information is that there is another victim. And she is apparently, or was apparently, talking to police and cooperating with police. So now you got that information. Think about that for a second. Another victim, and I'm telling you right now, there's more. I already feel it in my bones. I guarantee you there are more. Okay? This is not somebody who, clearly, if he had more than one victim, I don't think he's the type who just stops at one or stops at two. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if he had more. But that's just me. Hold on. Let's roll that back just a tiny bit, okay? I just want to hear a little bit more of what SF Investigates is saying. But like I said, there is conversation, all right, that he allegedly had another property that he was renting in California, like nearby his Hollywood Hills mansion, that other like the likes of Celeste and others were staying at. And maybe they were staying there to basically not be so obvious. You see what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, he did have management. He did have managers and all that. He had a manager living in that mansion as well. So maybe he had that other property rented out so that he can have his friends and, his boo things, which is disgusting, but his boo things over there, because he didn't want his managers to catch on what was going on, covering up the crimes that he's literally doing. He's not even alleged of doing this. Okay, he did these crimes, and we're just talking about the not the unaliving part. We're talking about the content that he had on his phone, and it's still that is still on his phone. So he committed some crimes right there, without a doubt. But here's the thing: we still don't know if that's content that he bought, or if that's content where he is the star and the filmmaker in the doggone content. You get what I'm saying? We don't know. But one thing is for sure, something's up. Something is most definitely up, okay? So, as I was saying, it is a very, very wild piece of information that is going on here. Did he have a second home? that he had these individuals in or not. That is one thing we're all trying to figure out, right? Or if that's just fake news, right? That's one thing I'm curious about. But let's play this real quick.
And which was an illegal relationship.
Do you know if that's part?
Hold on.
Been in touch with for months and sent me photographic evidence of her and David at the rental house.
Photographic evidence. So she has photographic evidence. Don't know if that is spicy, disgusting content or if it's just selfies of her inside the home with D4vd. But nonetheless, she is claiming that she was having illegal relations with this deplorable man.
And which was an illegal relationship.
Do you know if that's part of the case or going to be part of the case?
I don't know. They've been turned. I can tell you that the photos have been turned over to law enforcement. She's talked to law enforcement. I don't know if that's part of the case or not. They are going to be very protective of the imagery. They made that clear.
Okay. So that's a big deal. Okay. That's a very, very big deal. Again, so many things are possible with this situation. Did he really indeed have a second home where he was literally holding up these particular individuals? Remember, we talked about this in another show. Maybe he had like a group of runaways, you know, like kind of creating his own like Peter Pan's Never Never Land. Oh, that sounds really crazy now, like with Michael. Oh, my God. But think about that for a second, that he was trying to create his own Never Never Land. I know. And here's the other thing, too. We don't I leave up to you if you believe that, you know, if you believe the allegations on if you believe the the allegations that Michael Jackson went through and all that stuff, but the Never Never Land situation, kind of weird, kind of interesting. So now you look at this other house and you see all these, you know, like these castaways, you know, like these kids that feel like they're the you know, the outcast. You see what I'm saying? And suddenly he's like, "Oh, you're my people. Come be a part of my world. Come here. Come live with me. In fact, I got a house right here. Shooting good. You know, that's a place. Hey, that bed right there has your name on it. No, it's all good. You don't have to say thank you or anything. Just, hey, you know, you're welcome here. You're part of the crew. That kind of thing. We talked about this just the other day. And I said, what are the possibilities of him bringing in these people, the outcasts, the castaways, the runaways, so on and so forth, the ostracized, the ones that don't feel fully like they're a part of something. And he's like, hey, you're a little different, so am I. Welcome to the world. Welcome to my crew. Come here. Come stay with us. You can be your true self here. No judgment whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know that sounds a little insane, but what are the possibilities? You know, we're part of this outcast group. It's a lot of love and a lot of fun. We hang out, we party, we kick it, we play video games, we create. We're a crew. It's possible. And maybe that's the reason why it was so alluring for the like of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Think about that for a second. There's freedom here. There's no judgment. You can be who you want to be. And let's not forget, you're also around somebody who's succeeding, who's actually successful, and he's also making a name for himself. You see what I'm saying? So they're looking at that, and they're looking at him like, oh my God, you know, we're in front of celebrity. We're in front of, we're literally seeing a guy holding on to the brass ring. We want to be with this guy as much as possible. You know, basically almost turning him into some sort of deity. You see what I'm saying? He could do no wrong. And he's awesome. And he's dope. And we got to kick it with him. And we got to see his creative process and all that stuff. Right? Now, obviously, I'm just formulating or, creating this in my own mind. It's all speculation. But if you really think about it, what if that was the case? What if that is the case? Yeah. Some cult of personality right there. A little cultish if you ask me. But I can see how easily these young kids could be easily manipulated and swayed into being a part of this. It can be very alluring. It can be very seductive, for lack of a better term. And I don't mean it in that spicy way. I'm just saying, wow, he wants me to hang out with them and they want us to, they all want to be friends with, like they want me to be their friend and blah, blah, blah. That can be really seductive to a young kid who is going through puberty, by the way, and trying to figure their ish out. And they feel like their parents don't understand them. Their school doesn't understand them. The people at the students and the friends that they have that they grew up with still don't understand them. And then suddenly he's like, yo, I'm weird too, man. I got dark fantasies and dark ideas too, man. I understand, bro. Come over here. We're playing video games and, smoking a little ish and drinking a little bit. It's all good. No judgment here. Anything goes over here. Come on over. It's easy, extremely easy to drag a kid in like that, especially a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid that has no idea where they're going. They're still trying to figure themselves out and may feel a little lost. I mean, think about it. She ran away from her home around 11 times, if I'm correct, in 1 year. Over the course of a year, this young girl, Celeste, ran away from her home 11 times, y'all. So think about that for a second. Like I said, put that bee in your bonnet. Let it soak all the way down to your furry plums or your inside plums, okay, for the ladies, all right? Okay, let it go there for a second. Think about it. She ran away over and over and over and over and over again, back to back to back to back to back. You don't understand me, Mom. You don't understand me, Dad. He does. And every time she ran away and they found her, where was she? She was found in the mother-loving Hollywood Hills. Let me repeat that again. Every time she ran away and they found her, and the times that they found her, she was found at the Hollywood Hills with a guy named D4vd. This is a level of grooming like I've never seen before. Okay? Hold on. Anna J. Vibe just said, I saw the second house. There's tall condos looking down over the front yard. Saw the house on Redfin listings too. Kitchen picture of them were matched with the listing picture of the house. Yes. So I thought, thank you. I thought I was losing my mind. I'm like, I could have sworn, because it's been 7 months, y'all, and there's been other cases we've been talking about. Like where's Nancy Guthrie? You know what I'm saying? Where's Sebastian Rogers at? Where he at, B? Okay? But yes, I remember there being talks of another rental that allegedly she was staying at. Right? So again, and I don't know, Cat B, thank you so much for the love and the super chat. I appreciate it. Was he starting a cult a la Manson? You know what? I don't know. That's the thing. That's the one thing that we're all trying to figure out, right? That's the one thing we're all bashing our brains up against a wall, being like, what is really going on here? What is really going on here? And clearly, I truly think he was doing the Never Neverland Peter Pan kind of approach. Not like, we never get old, you know what I mean? Think happy thoughts and you'll fly. No, none of that. But I think okay, I think that he used that type of mentality to grab all these kids. And remember, there's 40 terabytes of content out there, guys. 40, not 14, 40 terabytes of content. Meech, too, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. You see what I'm saying? So this is some wild stuff. Wild stuff. And as we start to look at a possible timeline, as we start to hear about content that he had, 40 terabytes of content. Not all of it being photos, but you know for a fact, photos, videos, you name it. You know what I'm saying? Nasty stuff. A whole lot of content that he had. Laptops, phones, tablets, all of those things. All of that. All on a I guess 100 terabyte drive, if they even make those things. So again, the man is screwed. Okay? The man is absolutely screwed. Without question. Without question. And now the fact that there is a alleged second victim out here that knows a lot and that is also working with 5-0, y'all, he is in so much trouble. Listen, I don't feel sorry for him. Ain't no way do I feel sorry for this dude. I feel sorry for Celeste. And I feel sorry for the other victims because I feel like there's other victims. I think there's more than just one child involved. Now we're hearing allegedly a second child, right? It breaks my heart that none of this was prevented. And you got a guy, D4vd, that is very sick in his head. It's not alleged anymore. The alleged part is whether or not he unalived Celeste, which, come on, y'all, he really did that, okay? He did that ish, all right? He took that beautiful child's life. He did that. That's what I think. But now it's going to be up to the courts to decide, the jury to decide whether or not he should be charged and thrown in the slammer for doing what he did, what I believe he did to Celeste. But the content that's on his phone, the content that was on his laptops and all that stuff, 40 terabytes of content, y'all, stop. He guilty for that. You can slam the gavel down and say case closed on that part at least. It's a wrap for him on that. It's a wrap for him on that. Now, we got a few other things we got to look at, okay? Just a few things, okay? There's a lot going on. It's so jacked up. There's so many crazy stories and cases going on. Now, again, we're still in the SF Investigates world, okay? I'm just giving you guys a fair heads up because there's a timeline we're going to be looking at here in just a little bit. And he put this up yesterday, if I'm correct. Yeah, yesterday. So we need to take a look at this, okay? So he says, I've made updates to the timeline I'm building for the period just before prosecutors allege that D4vd, David, okay, unalived Celeste Rivas Hernandez on April 23rd. So a year ago yesterday, guys. A year ago yesterday, she most likely lost her life around that time. So through just after they alleged that her body was dismembered on May 3rd, 2025. In court today, the prosecutors stood by the April 23rd date, stating they were, quote unquote, happy to be in court on the 1-year anniversary of the date Celeste was killed. David showed no visible reaction to that statement. Thank you to those who that have come forward with information in the last few days. The timeline can be viewed here. So we're taking a look at it right here, okay? And there is some crazy stuff being said, okay? And this is nuts, all right? This is nuts. But it's very revealing. And again, this is just a tentative timeline. It's not solidified, you know what I'm saying? And I know more information as this trial continues, as this case continues to develop. I'm sure things are subject to change. I just want to give you guys that heads up. But of course, shout out to SF Investigates for putting up this timeline because it makes sense to me, okay? It definitely makes sense to me. So, a factual record of D4vd, okay, his publicly visible movements, performances, press, and social media posts between April 21st through May 22nd of 2025. The timeline brackets the dates Los Angeles County prosecutors have alleged in connection with the demise of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So, important context. Los Angeles County prosecutors have alleged 2 key dates inside this window. On or about April 23rd, this is when she was alleged to be unalived, okay? And on or about May 5th, where they believe where she was dismembered, where she was dismantled, guys. So we're going to be using some code words in and out of this whole freaking thing, okay? Now, this timeline is intended to provide factual context, not to assert guilt. Compiled from publicly available news coverage, concert and ticketing databases, and timestamps embedded in D4vd's own social media posts. So what's crazy is that his social media posts could also show a pattern and what he could have been doing in between time, okay? You're going to see in a little bit because he goes ghost for like 4 or 5 days, if I remember correctly. And during that time, they believe that is the time where he was busy trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this body? Literally, what am I going to do? And then that's when he was dismembering her, cutting off her fingers, doing all those things, okay? Red Rumor, I tagged you in on X. I called her parents involved a while back. Oh, what in the hell? We will look at that in a little bit. Janobi, thank you so much for the love and the super chat. We'll look at that in a second, okay? Let's just get through this timeline, all right? Many miles to go before we sleep or eat or whatever the hell we need to do here soon. So, April 21st, no public reported activity. He was at apparently Coachella. That was his weekend. He did 2 sets, ended with a prior day in Indio, California. So April 22nd, I guess he had a press conference. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, he was doing some promo, some sort of promo. So Band Lab announces 3-day D4vd pop-up event in New York City. So he was about to be out here promoting the foo out of Withered. Remember that. I don't care. So let's move on. April 23rd, prosecutors alleged Celeste Rivas Hernandez arrived the evening of April 23rd at D4vd's rented Hollywood Hills home, and that was the last she was heard or seen from, or, on or about this particular date. Okay? Withered World Tour tickets enter pre-sale. You understand how big this is? The timing here is unbelievable. 2 days after she was allegedly murked, his album Withered was to drop, or dropped. 2 days after he unalived her. He was about to go on a world tour, which is exactly what he ended up doing. He was going on tour, doing all kinds of stuff during the time that she was gone, chopped up in the front trunk of a Tesla. So it was business as usual. The show must go on. You feel me? This dude is diabolical. So he went on TikTok. He said, it's from David. Your prayers have been answered. It's finally here. Promoting the upcoming album release. So April 24th, the day before album's supposed to drop, okay? Withered Tour tickets officially on sale. He goes on to Instagram. He has a reel. My Withered Tour is officially on sale, right? He goes on Twitch Live. He streams on Twitch 5 hours later, okay, roughly. Caption, put the album in the bag, bruh. Streaming from what appears to be a residential interior instead of that evening's album release party. So he was in his, I'm assuming his home, okay? And he's on streaming Twitch promoting the new freaking album that's dropping the next day, April 25th. Don't forget that. And today, ain't that crazy that today's April 24th? So all this stuff that he did was a year ago to this day. To this day. So he was like, put the album in the bag, bruh. Get that album, homie. I don't care. Right? So he was promoting that crap. Put the album in the bag. There's a screenshot from the actual Twitch stream that he did a year ago today. Moving on. Live appearance. Withered album release party. 100 Thieves compound in Los Angeles. Okay. Host text blast sent on 6:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Announced the party would kick off in 90 minutes. Okay. So guests directed to enter through the parking lot to the left of the building. So it says here, the host of Withered album release party sent a text blast. D4vd Withered album release party kicks off in 90 minutes. When you arrive at the 100 Thieves compound, press enter through the parking lot. Or please enter through the parking lot to the left of the building and head to the back. Thanks and see. We don't know what else is there. Okay, so this was literally a text blast that he put out around 6:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then he hopped onto a flight from LA to New York City, a red eye, allegedly, okay, overnight, okay, inferred from next day New York City pop-up event. So he went up there to perform, and here he is, April 25th. Album drop. The day of the album drop. Withered. Darkroom/Interscope released. Debuted at number 13. Interesting that it's number 13, don't you think? The number 13. Anyway, debuts at number 13 on Billboard 200. Live performance, Band Lab, and D4vd pop-up day 1, New York City, Union Square. In-person fan meet and greet, stripped down acoustic set, group photo opportunity. So, at this live debut, Afterlife performed for the very first time live at the Band Lab pop-up acoustic set. He appears visibly to break down and start crying mid-song. Let me repeat that again. He's in the middle of this song called Afterlife. First time it's being premiered for everyone to hear, and he's out there breaking down, crying. Okay, visibly breaking down in mid-song, crying. Note on dating. All right. Most online aggregators date the Surface clip at April 26th because that's when the widely shared Instagram reel went up on April 26th around 9:54 Pacific time. However, the same performance had already been posted to TikTok the prior evening. A fan account clip went up on April 25th. All right. 16 hours earlier. A clip cannot exist before it's filming. Duh, that's obviously true, okay? Which means the performance itself actually happened on April 25th. This also matches BandLab's publishing program. Day 1, April 25th, was the scheduled acoustic performance. Day 2 is April 26th, was a non-performance creator workshop. The visual setting in the screenshot, red metal chair, yellow acoustic guitar held by an accompanying guitarist, D4vd wordmark on the pink Union Square pop-up wall matches the same footage that was posted on I guess on TikTok the day before. Okay, so everything matches. All right. 2 days later, Afterlife became the closer of his April 27th Houston album release show, performed twice. He performed that song twice, y'all. That's absolutely crazy. So on TikTok, he also posted, mine is friend again. What? Mine is friend again. Say it back. And ghost to be a TBH. I guess that's a lyric. Okay. Yeah, he got this. He got the he got the bonnet on. He still has the bonnet on. Is he at a Walmart? I don't know. Is he about to board a Spirit Airlines? I don't know. I don't know. But he out here. Okay. Anyway, April 26th, moving on. BandLab and D4vd pop-up day 2. Creator workshop and Q&A. Aftermath, wider Instagram reel of the previous evening's Afterlife debut surfaces and goes viral. So he's up there, he's performing his song Afterlife, whatever the song is, and he's like, oh, and he starts crying, right? It goes viral because he breaks down into tears, okay? This is the post most online aggregators tag with the April 26th date, but the underlying performance occurred on the 25th, okay? So, of course, we already know about that. Moving on, April 27th, travel, New York to Houston for evening hometown show. So he went back to his own stomping grounds where he was, where he was born and everything to perform in a hometown show. Okay, the hero has come back to his origin, right? So must have been a really big show. Live performance, headline album release show, White Oak Music Hall, Houston, Texas, near sellout. Sister Emily Burke joined on stage for Here With Me, and then he did the closer with Romantic Homicide. Moving on. Concurrent, New York City pop-up day 3 hosts live stream watch party of the actual Houston show. TikTok, two own account, I guess. So he posted two videos or, 2 posts on TikTok. All right. On the 28th, he travels from Houston back to New York for next day Brooklyn show. Jesus, that's insane. He goes from LA to to go, here's my album, woo, stemware, woo, woo. He jumps on a plane from LA to New York. He does this thing in New York. Then the very next day, he hops on a plane, flies out to Houston, does a show in Houston. Then he hops on another plane the very next day again to go back to New York to perform in Brooklyn. That is insane, okay? But here it is. Right here, he doesn't post anything. Right here on April 28th, because he's also traveling, he does not post any new social media posts at all. He goes dark that day, all right? Now, but that's only one day. And that day he's traveling and he's nowhere near Cali. He's nowhere near the Hollywood Hills. This is where it gets a little hairy. So you got April 29th. He does a performance in Brooklyn, okay? The Brooklyn Steel Show. Family on Stage. Show not on the published Withered tour calendar. Appears to be a release week one-off. So he just goes up there. He does a performance. And I guess his family, parents or something like that, sister, whatever, are on that stage with him. Okay, moving on. He posts one post on TikTok. Then, April 30th, he puts up 4 posts on TikTok. And then he goes dark for 4 days. May 4th, all the way down to May 1st, I'm sorry, all the way down to May 4th, he does not post anything at all. He goes ghost. He goes radio silent for 4 days. Here's the thing. May 5th, this is where prosecutors believe is when he actually took her apart and stuffed her in the front trunk of his actual Tesla. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, he does that, allegedly. And then he posts an Instagram story saying, hey, check out these cool skateboards I just saw. So he posts a story captioned, OMG chat, should I get? So then, photo of 2 skateboards, one with Kirby and another with the Hello Kitty on it as well. He posts this on his story, checking this out at a night market. So geolocated to downtown Los Angeles, food truck reading Bandit visible in the frame. Posted the same day prosecutors believe he dismantled her body, Celeste's body. But I personally think that he did it all throughout these 4 days. He may have come back home to the Hollywood Hills, took a nap, chilled, because that's a lot of traveling. Like you're going bang, 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 all over the place. Come back home, recoup, get some decent sleep, right? And then probably May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, he's doing exactly what we're thinking he's doing. Maybe May 2nd, he's trying to figure things out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with her remains? Scratching his head, probably Googling this stuff and trying to figure it all out. Maybe reaching out to a friend or two or something of that sort, right? And he's still trying to figure out how he's going to get it taken care of. But he does it in this time. I don't think it just took him just May 5th. Because he posted that story. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense for him to post something like that right after he's done something crazy. You see what I'm saying? It's a little weird to me. I truly think I'm even giving him a day. I know that sounds insane, but I'm saying like May 2nd and 3rd is when he's doing the worst. And then 4th, he sleeps again. Then 5th, he tries to get his ish together mentally. And then he finally posts something because, he's got to get back to acting like, the show must go on. Right? Moving on, though. Crazy, though. Because then the very next day after that, no public appearance, no posts on social media. The 7th, he puts a post up on TikTok. But then 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, nothing again. Which I truly think he either did what he did, then he tried to get back to normal. Like he took a day, to just try to process the crap that he did, right? Full on take in the disgusting, deplorable crap that he just did, trying to take that in. But he's like, okay, business as usual. So he posts something on TikTok and then it just took over it. Like depression, shock, whatever, took over again. I mean, I don't know. This is just me speculating. But maybe it took him out. He went into a really dark hole. Maybe he's drinking, doing all kinds of substances, God knows what, right? But 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, he just goes dark again. So again, like I said, he went dark after he allegedly, what prosecutors believe is the day that he actually was the one that, or the day that he actually dismantled her. Then on May 6th, he goes dark, right? So maybe he's just trying to get himself together. Then he posts something because he's trying to get things going. And then for 4 whole days, nothing all over again. So yeah, I'm thinking exhaustion, depression, all that. And he's trying to like shake it off. And he just needs a couple days to just get his mind right. Maybe. Or he could have been in and out of meetings and all kinds of stuff during that time too. God only knows. But he didn't post anything, nothing at all. No performances, no nothing. Now, again, it could have been like these few days, he could have been figuring out what he was going to do with her. And then he figured out what he was going to do with her. Like he, may have done it on the 6th. And then he did what he did. And he's like, damn it, I can't keep her in, I can't keep her in this house, or I can't keep her in this, I don't know, in this freezer, or what, because I know people are speculating still that she was frozen and all that. But, maybe he did move her around over those few days, trying to figure out how he could actually, get rid of the body. So he could have taken those days to try to figure those things out too. The dismantling could have happened on the 5th, and then these days are the days that he's just trying to figure it out. Maybe. Because then the 12th, he puts up 2 TikToks. Then the 13th, Tape Notes podcast, episode 155 with D4vd, that publishes. Recording date not public. So that could have been during those times as well, right? And he's trying to keep up with appearances and whatnot. But that podcast does get put up. So then he also puts up a TikTok. Sorry, Mom, for posting your fall. But this is too funny. I love you. So this is a TikTok that he's saying that it implies that he's with his mama. That could be it too, right? So then moving on, May 14th, because it's, like Mother's Day is around this time too, isn't it? So maybe that's what it is too. So he doesn't post anything on the 14th. 15th through the 19th, he is in Seoul, Korea. All right. He travels to Seoul, Korea. All right. Required to be in country by May 21st. So then he's there for those days, traveling and being in Seoul, Korea. Then he performs in Seoul, Korea. Okay. Performing near Cheonggi. Hopefully I'm saying that. Cheonggi. I'm totally destroying that, but you get what I'm saying. He in Seoul, Korea, Seoul, South Korea. Okay. And apparently he's performing. Then he puts up a reel on Instagram, performing here with me in Seoul, Korea. All right. Then he does another live performance in Seoul, Korea on the 22nd. So the bracket of time, May 1st to the 5th, where they think the Cinco de Mayo is the day that he took her apart. He still had 4 whole days before that to do that. Then he still had another bracket of time, 4 days, May 8th through the 11th, where he didn't post anything on social media at all as well. There could be a possibility that he was trying to either move the body at that time or try to move the remains at that time. Maybe he was trying to figure out where he could go. There was a moment where he drove out to Santa Barbara. What was he doing out in Santa Barbara? Why was he there in Santa Barbara? So again, like I said, something about this seems off. Something about this most definitely seems off. But again, this gives us some sort of semblance and some sort of idea of what he was in the middle of doing. And when he went dark on social media, those were the times it seems like what prosecution is trying to come up with is that those were the times where he was doing the most darkest, most sinister stuff. Crazy, right? It's not a bad timeline. Not a bad timeline breakdown at all, in my opinion. Okay? But those 2 big chunks of days that he just went dark, I think those are the moments where he went dark. Bars. Real talk. It's insane to think that that is actually a thing. Okay? insane to think that like to even look at that, right? Now, let me read this. Okay, so I don't know about this this tweet, but I got this from Genobi. So let's take a look at this. Okay, I don't know because this is just a tweet. I'm sure this is public opinion, or this is just opinion. Let me just say that really quick. You have been warned, okay? But I don't know what will entail in this, okay? So just ride with me, okay? So the truth about D4vd and Celeste is slowly starting to come out, and it's dark. Allegedly, Celeste's family was low-key extorting, blackmailing D4vd and basically forcing him to pay thousands of dollars every month to keep their quote-unquote secret. Okay, now that is something that people have been saying out here in these streets. I don't know if that's entirely true. I'd like to see more proof of that. Apparently, there are some kids allegedly extorting him. Like that photo that we see him out in the parking lot near her home, allegedly is near her crib. And he looks like he's got like a wad of cash and he's like paying off some kid. People are speculating that maybe he was paying them off. The kids were actually extorting him. Like, yo, I'm gonna tell on you. Like, I'm gonna tell everybody about you and Celeste, and God knows who else they've seen D4vd with. And so he allegedly was paying them off. But that's just speculation and rumor. I have yet to hear anything confirmed to that, right? With all due respect, right? So again, there is a theory that the parents were basically, extorting him for the money. He's very wealthy. And remember, they reported her missing in 2024. And then they stopped looking for her. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry, guys, and I'm not trying to blame the family, okay? Hold up, okay? Let me just make that abundantly clear. But there's something about this that makes me feel that, makes me ask the question, why wouldn't they start asking questions if she had been run off for so long? Here's the other part that drives me crazy too, and we might have to pull this up if we got some time. The part that really drives me crazy is the fact that, you remember the time when she was going off on her neighbor? Because the kids were doing ding dong ditch and she was getting mad and she was enraged. She walked over to the neighbor and she was cussing him out. Remember all that? Cussing out the grown-ass dad. But, also the dad was stooping to her level, too, instead of just being an adult. That's another conversation in itself. That's a whole other conversation in itself, okay? But remember when she was there and we saw the Ring camera footage, her going off on her neighbor? She was still reported missing at that time. She came home, if I'm correct, for a birthday. And this was a little bit ago before her demise. Remember that? Yeah, I'm going to have to pull that up. I'll pull it up in a little bit. But we all remember it. She went off. She was going off on, but that was during a time that she was allegedly missing, guys. She was supposed to be missing. So why was she suddenly coming back home like it was nothing? Wouldn't there have been like a huge reunion? Wouldn't there have been like a huge thing? Would they not have called up the police and said, no need to have her face up on missing person posters anymore? She's home now. Our daughter's finally home. You see what I'm saying? So again, she came in and out. What's up with that? Is it because the parents already knew where she was going? They already knew the story about David? Or is it because of this theory? They were extorting David. Don't know. Oh yeah, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for becoming a member. It's weird. It's weird. There's a lot that needs to make sense. And I think a part of me, my heart of hearts feels there's a reason why the parents didn't come out and talk. They didn't do this. They didn't do a public statement, because I feel like they would have been asked so many questions that they would have to find a way to answer or lie to the general public about. So yeah, there are some questions about whether or not the extorting rumor is true, but it is a rumor. Okay, but let's finish this. Let's see. So again, blackmailing D4vd, okay, and basically forcing him to pay thousands of dollars every month to keep her a secret or keep their secret. Okay, it's already been confirmed that family was receiving money from him, and they knew about the relationship. So where's the proof that they were receiving money? That's the thing I'm kind of curious about. Where's the proof that they were actually receiving money? The family was receiving money from D4vd. And of course, that they knew about the relationship. That's the part I'd like to know as well. But moving on. The truth is, Celeste was never actually missing in the way that they claim. I agree about that part, for sure. But it may not be for financial gain. It may have been a situation where they're like, we already know where she's going and we can't do anything about it. There was things they could have done about it. Okay. There's things they could have done about it, but they didn't do it. All right. But I do think that they knew absolutely where she was. Okay. The brother said that they knew, he knew about the relationship. Word. Okay. That's new for me. Okay. But yeah, that would be pimping your daughter out if these allegations are true. You understand? Moving on. Note, I'm not defending D4vd by the way, BT dubs, and Celeste still deserves justice, but there are a lot of strange circumstances around this case that must be addressed regarding Celeste's family. Okay, now this is where it gets wicked. This isn't the first time Celeste's family has engaged in this quote-unquote method. Celeste was previously dating another adult male named Gus. What? Before meeting D4vd. The fuck? What? What? Gus was 20 years old and lived in the same community as Celeste. But what's crazy is that Gus ended up getting unalived. Oh, I heard about Gus. I'm sorry. I forgot about Gus. Until just now. That Gus ended up getting unalived in a drive-by shooting in broad daylight in 2022. Coincidence? The bigger question is why and how were these adult men able to get access to a little while her family knew about it? Something's not adding up. Something isn't adding up. I'm sorry. Something is not adding up. Okay? Was Celeste being trafficked by her own family? There's a lot more to this story that I think will be revealed as time goes on. If you look deep enough online, you'll find some very weird text messages amongst Celeste's family, talking about her being on a plane with dealers. Say word? I'm not the first person to theorize that there could be some nefarious activities going on with the victim's family. And understand, this doesn't justify or vindicate D4vd in any way. He still had an illegal relationship with a little and is the main suspect in her murder. But I do think it's worth noting all the weird circumstances surrounding this incident. That is weird. This guy has a point. With all that information, it is weird, but a lot of it is still rumor. You see what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here saying all of it is rumor. Okay, some of these things do have actual proof, solid proof out here, but it is interesting nonetheless. The conversation about Gus, the fact that she was on a plane with dealers, like, I don't know what that's all about. Okay. But yeah, clearly something weird is going on here that needs to be, they need to expand on this a little bit more. Okay. But the fact that D4vd is sitting there saying like, this ain't me. Like, I wasn't the cause of her demise. What the hell does that mean then? Why not step forward, speak to your team, and tell them exactly what you mother loving know so we can keep it moving, babies? You see what I'm saying? Because if he didn't do it and he's just a disgusting individual, then let him get charged for what he's disgusting for, right? You get what I'm saying? Let him pay the piper For what? For the wrongs that he's done. But if he didn't unalive her, then who did? And does he know? And is there something deeper and more sinister, as they said, more nefarious going on that we don't know about? Someone talk to me. You see what I'm saying? Someone mother-loving talk to me, because I'd like to know too, dagnabbit. Because the confusion is just, whoops. Because the confusion is just, it's too much. But hold on, before we continue on, before we go in, okay? Let's see. Hold on. What's tough is finding, because it's been chopped up and screwed so many times, the footage of her arguing with a neighbor, that kind of thing. That's when it gets a little frustrating. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it really quick. I'm sorry, guys. Come on. Shoot, remember Banfield had a show on on News Nation? Dang, man. Okay, let's take a look. Does she play it at all?
Prank on her. Take a look.
Okay, she does.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk?
Cause I'm not.
You tripping.
I ain't tripping.
Nah, you tripping. Out the door and you tripping.
Oh my God.
Nah, cause you tripping. Move this out of here.
I ain't gonna do shit. I ain't gonna do shit. You better get over there. Get your over there, little girl.
Okay, so you saw that, right? Pretty insane stuff. Pretty insane, that footage. But that was around the same time that she was reportedly missing. And yet she still was able to come back home and chill and celebrate whatever festivity that she came back home for. That is her. That is her in Ring camera footage. And let me let Ashley Banfield cook. Hold on. This is old, y'all. This is old. Ashley Banfield doesn't have a show on Netflix, on News Nation anymore. Okay, she has a show on YouTube, and it's a flourishing, very good show. Okay, but this is 7 months ago when we were talking about this ish. You know what I'm saying?
Has surfaced. Video was recorded at the home of Celeste's parents in Lake Elsinore, California, exactly a year ago, or a year before her body was found in the trunk of a car belonging to the rising music star named David. We had been told that Celeste went missing in April of 2024 and that her family hadn't seen her since.
Word.
But this new video was recorded by a Nest camera on September 8th, 2024.
Make that make sense. She ran away multiple times. But in this particular time, okay, over the course of that year, over a course of a year, she went and ran off a bunch of times. And suddenly, out of nowhere, she's found at the crib in September of 2024, when she was last seen literally months before that in April. Springtime. They say she was last seen April 5th, 2024. But then she's found several months later at the house. They never said, oh, call the cops. Call the police. Tell them that we found her. She's home. She's home, everybody. She's home. Nope, that didn't happen. That did not happen. So make that make sense. It doesn't make any sense, y'all.
Which would make that 4 months after she ran away.
Right.
The neighbors who provided the video to TMZ say that it shows her arguing with people who had pulled a prank on her. Take a look.
So we already saw the footage, okay? So she was reported missing in April of 2024. Then 4 months later, okay, she's back out, seen. Months later, she's found back at the crib. Make that make sense? See, that's the thing that a lot of people are going to be asking over and over and over again. What's the breakdown here? Because the breakdown does not make sense. So I can understand, a post like we just saw, okay, that we just read, where there's like, yo, the math ain't mathin'. I haven't said that phrase in a while. But yeah, saying the math ain't mathin' with this situation. And there's no way that the parents did not know. I understand that speculation. I understand that concern. But I want to see where the proof is, where the evidence is that would sit there and lead us down the side of them actually being extorted. You see what I'm saying? Like maybe the family's business, bank accounts need to be looked at, so on and so forth, right? But it doesn't make any sense. They reported her missing. She was in it. She ran away multiple times. And then they filed and said that she was missing, and then they stopped filing missing person reports. And they never said, hey, she's back. Oh, she's missing again. She's back. Oh, she's missing again. Nope. They just said one time, she's missing. And that is it, right? So again, something weird is going on here. Like I said, I understand the concerns and the questions that a lot of people have, but on some real stuff, at the end of the day, that doesn't change the fact that he is up for murder. That does not change the fact that he's up for taking the life of this little girl. Insane stuff. Hold on. Little quick trip down memory lane. The ex-boyfriend spoke out 6 months ago. Let's take a look at that again.
Even though the death certificate came out yesterday, the medical examiner has deferred the cause and manner of death.
So just to underscore, we don't know if this was a murder, a homicide of any sort, right, or whether it was an OD, natural causes.
Celeste, speaking to an ex-boyfriend who lives still in the same area where Celeste grew up, but he spoke to one of our producers. His young man's name is Damien. Says that he and Celeste started dating when he was either 13 or 14, but he says that she did talk about some trouble at home, and says that she did talk about some trouble at home. Teenager, or is there something especially different that was going on there? But this is what Damien...
We should just say, we have edited some specifics out because we have not been able to confirm them, and we don't want to do this, but he is talking generally. By the way, he's sitting next to his mother.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me and my friend that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it. And the next day, she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
Yeah, so she had run away, as you know, and we've talked about several times. She ran away in January of 2024, came back, and police got her in February in Hollywood, and then she ran away in March of 2024. Now, we're told that's the last time the family saw her Although there's some conflict over whether she came back after that.
Well, yeah. So it was interesting too. His interview. I mean, that matches up with what we're hearing from law enforcement that that she had some type of troubled home life, and that was the reason for her running away, obviously. And then we got this video yesterday, which was kind of shocking because we thought maybe the last time her mom had seen her or her parents had seen her was one of the last times she had ran away.
Right. In the spring of 2024.
So we spoke to a neighbor directly in an apartment right next door to where she lives. They had Nest camera. I believe we're going to show
camera
it.
footage that was. This is from September 7th, 2024, and Celeste is the woman you see there. She was arguing with the neighbors because someone some kids were doing
the context of the video is she lived right next door. Kids in the apartment building had ding-dong ditched her house. So she was going over there to confront the kids. And at the time, they didn't. The neighbors didn't really think anything of it. They're just like,
they had seen the missing posters, but they was like, oh, well, she's here.
After she left, they were talking. They're like, oh, that was the girl from the missing posters because the family had gone up and down the block with the missing posters back in April.
So wait a minute. So the idea here is that she came back in
September 2024
to her family.
Yeah.
Hey, Anakin, come over here for a second.
Now we don't know if she was back there staying with them or she just went back to visit.
But she was clearly right next door to her family home on September 8th.
We have a mic. Oh, you have your mic.
We spoke to Celeste's mother before she was even identified because we got a tip. She only speaks Spanish. Anakin speaks Spanish, and you talked to her.
Yeah.
What we reported was the last time the family saw her was March of 2024.
So I never got a specific month from her. All I know is that she said that she hadn't seen her for a couple of years until news of her death.
A couple of years.
Well, it certainly wasn't a couple of years because she was there in April.
If she was right next to her house.
If it was September, it was less than a year.
Well, certainly at that point, it's less than a year.
About a year.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's really striking about this incident, though, is it is exactly 1 year before the body was discovered in David's Tesla, to the day.
Right.
You know, the neighbors told us that they thought that she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth.
It seems that way, and it's different from the initial report, which was
that she was
the final
just
time
gone
she
to
was
Hollywood.
seen was in March, and she went to Hollywood, and that was it.
Right.
So again, like I said, there's a lot of confusion about this particular timeline. They keep on saying it's, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the problem. One thing that would be really great is if we found out some more information from the family. You know, if they were able to clarify a few things. But the family's been super zipped up tight. They haven't said anything to anyone about anything. Okay? And that's a massive problem. All right? Because there's just there's too many things that just don't make any sense. Okay? And we've been sitting here for months trying to figure this whole thing out. And now you got, you know, people, you know, a lot of speculation, a lot of rumor circulating all over this. And again, yeah, the radio silence is weird. XDG. The radio silence is weird, in my personal opinion. Okay. Vlad, we all need therapy at this point. With everything that's been going on, 2026 has been 2026 in. You see what I'm saying? Shoot. We thought 2025 was crazy. Shoot. Hold on. I just want to pull this up to see this for myself. No freaking way. Hold on. Hold on. There it is. This is the photo I was looking for. Bang. This photo right here. This ish right here. Apparently, this is him paying one of the kids off. to keep their mouth shut. A photo of extortion. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But he's definitely giving money. I'm thinking he's trying to get some, maybe he's trying to get some, maybe get that hookup. He experiments, right? I'm thinking it's some other type of, substance or some sort of thing. You feel me? But people are speculating that this is a photo of him actually getting that hookup, or like actually getting them to shut up. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking it's maybe yayo. It might be some other kind of dust. It could also be some other type of, some kind of crystals. It could be peels. Like anything goes. But this is what people are speculating. They are speculating that he is literally trying to pay this particular kid off, and that he was paying off students to shut up. Kids that actually knew Celeste was in a relationship with the man. And they were sitting there going like, hey, I'm telling Ma. I'm telling my mom. I'm telling the school. And he's like, no. How about if I give you some of this money, bro? I'll just give you some of this money so you can shut the hell up. And apparently this is a photo of him getting captured, paying one of these kids off that was about to just start squawking. I don't know about all that, but I do think it is an interesting video.
Popular artist.
I do think it's a very interesting photo. Now, I do want to see, because apparently, hold on. There is a new video apparently of Celeste Rivas' brother, allegedly. And I don't know what her brother looks like. I swear to God, I don't know what her brother looks like, but allegedly, nah. Okay, never mind. Thank God. Thank God. I thought it was literally a video. Last night I saw a video, and that's what sucks about, like, you know what I mean? That's what sucks about all these like X, you know what I'm saying? People just put up stuff and they're just like, it's the truth. And it's like, are you sure it's the truth? So we're not playing that video because apparently that's fake. So thank God it's fake. Because at first I was like, damn, this is crazy. And I saw it late last night. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll pull it up on the show when we're discussing and deep diving into this conversation. It's not real. But people are sharing it like crazy. So I'll show you what I mean. They're saying that this video, look at the bottom still, not the top. Down at the bottom, they're saying that the guy at the bottom is actually Celeste's brother, breaking down pretty bad. But apparently that's not the case. They're saying this is just some other guy randomly from 2020 saying that apparently he found out he was getting cheated on, and so he's crashing out on live, okay? It's not his brother. It's fake. Somebody took this video and tried to repurpose it, basically saying that is her brother. And I'm telling you right now, for those of us like myself, I've never seen what her brother looks like, okay? So for those of us who have never seen her brother, they're sharing that like wildfire. So that dude in 2020 got cheated on and he was crashing out. That's literally it. Straight up crashing the F out, okay? Just so you know. But moving on. Moving the F on. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so there is something I do want to share with y'all because I do think it's kind of crazy. Okay. This is a little crazy. You ready? This is a little crazy. All right. There's a guy online, like, okay. For those of y'all who think that D4vd is innocent, don't worry, you're not alone. We've got to take a look at this. This is on TikTok. This dude actually believes that D4vd was framed. I just want to play a little bit of this because I just think it's just a little crazy. Okay? And don't get me wrong, there's going to be some naysayers out there. There's going to be some people who think that he did no wrong and that he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, so on and so forth. Okay, let's be real. But real talk, it is a little bit insane to me that there are people, and it will grow. It will grow. Trust me, it will. There are people out there that believe, Brian Koberger is not the guy, right? There are people out there that believe that Tyler Robinson is not the guy. I think they got a guy. I think there's a lot more to it with that case, but you get what I'm saying. All right? There's a lot going on. What up, JB? JB in the house, y'all. WFLA in the hizzy. What's up, man? Hey. Great to see you too, man. No, you keep up the great work. Y'all need to go and check out WFLA. He's been covering a lot of this case as well, and many other things. Okay, and JB, you need to tell me. We need to talk about that set. That set is so beautiful. As a huge gadget nerd and tech nerd, oh my lord, his set is phenomenal, y'all. Just go check it out. Okay, but check out his show. It's really, really, really great. WFLA. He's always killing it. Shout out to my boy JB. Yeah, man. Thanks for, stopping by and checking out the show. So here's the thing, guys. All right. Here's the ting do. All right. As time goes on, we're going to have some people out here that are going to be saying everything they can to try to be the naysayer. I think D4vd's screwed. That's what I truly think. I think he's in trouble, homie. He's in big trouble. But there's always going to be somebody who's going to try to move the goalposts and be like, no, it was the wind. Nah, he didn't do that. It was this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And so that's exactly the situation that we are in now. There's already naysayers. There are already people who are saying, maybe he was framed.
He's innocent. And I don't know if I've ever really laid out my reasons why, but hear me out. For all of y'all that think he's guilty, I understand. And understand, I'm not even saying you're wrong. All I'm literally saying is I haven't seen enough evidence to convince me otherwise. Because what y'all don't know is, one, there's a lot of people that think David is innocent for the wrong reasons. Like, there's a lot of people who think David is innocent simply because they like him, they like his music, and they just can't fathom a world where he did that. I'm not one of those guys. I know anything is possible. And again, I didn't know who David was until last year. Because honestly, when I first heard about, the case, when I first heard about the girl being in his car, my first thought was, oh man, that's crazy. He really did that. But then as more information came out, and then I, found out that the body was left in his car at his house, in his neighborhood, in his driveway or whatever, and that he was across, the country on tour, that's when I started thinking, hold on, that don't make sense. So it was never because of who he was. I've only ever thought he was innocent simply because the information that I heard just didn't make sense.
Okay, so first off, let me just say this. With all due respect, because I'm not trying to be rude to the guy. We are all free thinkers. We're allowed to think what we want to think. But I'm going to say this video that he posted up 3 days ago aged like milk. I'm sorry. It aged like milk. Why? Because now we have more information. And here's the other thing, too. Like, I get it. The people who are going to be, thinking for themselves and hearing the information, they might listen or see the stuff and go, wait a second, this stuff ain't adding up. This is not adding up for me. That's fine. But the evidence, the hard evidence, says a lot to me. Yes, there are going to be people out here that are naysayers. There are going to be people out here that don't trust or think that he was framed right out the gate. Okay? But again, if this is to be true, all right, if he really does think that he was framed, maybe he's not getting enough of the information yet. You see what I'm saying? He said all those videos are AI, Pascal. That is insane if that's the case. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but hi, I'm bored on TikTok. So check it out if you want to. Okay. But again, like I said, for me, I understand, or I can see how people who are instantly already fans of D4vd, how they'll quickly gravitate towards not guilty or gravitate towards he's innocent, he's being framed. But if you are somebody who knows nothing about D4vd and you're looking just at the facts, it is hard to look at it and go, well, maybe he was actually framed. I don't see that, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I don't see it that way. I don't see how that goes down. It just doesn't make any earthly sense to me. So sit down and literally look at just the facts. Forget if you like his music. I don't care. Like, I don't care about his music. Just look at the facts. And you tell me what it tells you. And I'll tell you what it tells me, ma'am, is that he in trouble. It don't add up because she was cut into pieces. And that what doesn't add up is that it was in his car allegedly for 4 months. What doesn't add up is how he was able to do that and go and tour promoting an album 2 days after he took the life of this little girl. Those things don't add up. You see what I'm saying? To me, that doesn't add up. The framed part? Nah, bruh. Nah. Because if you really think about it, if they were really that close of friends, we've already talked about this ad nauseum, but I'm going to say it again. If you have somebody that you are that close with, doesn't matter their age. Let's just say that they're of the same age. You become quick friends with somebody. You guys are just attached at the hip, for crying out loud. Totally platonic, nothing nefarious, nothing spicy, just two very good friends. You're always around each other. You pretty much see each other every damn day. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she just disappears. That bestie that you had just straight up disappears out of nowhere. Are you not asking where she is? Are you not going to the parents and being like, hey, mom and pop, buenos dias. ¿Dónde está Celeste? Por favor. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my Lord. Look at that. This is actually working. Okay? ¿Dónde está Celeste, por favor? Okay? You know? So all I'm saying is, here it is. Wouldn't you be out here asking people questions like that? I'm just saying. Wouldn't you be out here asking people questions? My bestie's gone. One of my close friends is gone. One of the friends that I've been around, her name is Celeste, has always been around me all the time. Suddenly, she just disappeared. Would you not be asking, yo, where's she at? She's always been part of the crew, and suddenly she's gone for 4 whole months. Not once did you ever ask, where's she at? See, that's the part that doesn't add up. So even if you sit there and think that he was framed, start looking at that part of the equation and tell me if that adds up or not. Thank you, Creep Show. Okay, muy buen. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Gracias, mi amigo. Spanish, everybody. Yes, I'm learning. I'm learning, everybody. I'm learning slowly but surely, but I'm learning. I threw the book out to be funny, but I don't know where it went. But you saw it, okay? It's fantastic. Sponsor me. I'm kidding. But seriously, sponsor me. Anyway, so all I'm saying is certain things here just don't make sense. Sure, there's going to be people out here, some naysayers. There's going to be people who are going to move the goalpost, do what they do. Okay, we're used to that crap. All right. But, when you sit there and go, he probably framed. No, he wasn't framed. He wasn't. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew. He knew. Wait, Jose, right? Right? He knew? What's he in Spanish again? Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out. Oh, El Sabia? El Sabia? El Sabia. Am I saying that right? Somebody spell it out phonetically for me. No, it's Sabio, because it's male, right? It's about a male, so it'd be not Sabia, Sabio. Correct? Él lo sabía. Oh, él lo sabía. Like mala idea. Oh, come on, y'all. Come on. It's all coming back. Yes. So, él lo sabía. Él lo sabía. Okay. So, yes. He would know. He knows. Right? Right? Everybody going in. Well, hooked on phonics today, everybody. Okay? Or Rosetta Stone, or whatever it's called. Not hooked on phonics. It's Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. It's not it's not hooked on phonics, but you get what I'm saying, okay? Mary had a little lamb. Okay? El sabía. Yes. See. Okay, so you get what I'm saying, right? The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin' if you're literally thinking that this guy got framed. Not once would he ever ask, where is she? ¿Dónde está Celeste? ¿Dónde está mi amiga Celeste? Right? Because she's female, so it'd be amiga, right? I think I'm getting this right. I don't know. Right? I got it right, PR goddess, right? Okay, I'm a freaking genius. We learning things today, y'all. I got it, Papa. I thought it was Papi. I thought it was, sí, Papi. You know what I'm saying? Muy caliente, do. Okay. Lente loco. Okay, so let's continue, okay? As we were saying, we're not here to learn Spanish, all right? Dagnabbit. We're not here to talk about Spanish. But he should be asking the family where she at, right? Shouldn't she? Shouldn't he? I'm sorry. But he didn't. Okay? But he didn't. So, framed my ass. Okay? Just saying. ¿Dónde está mi amiga? Celeste. And he did not do that. That we know of. Maybe the family did know all this time. We don't know. But they're coming off like they didn't know anything at all. Just so you know. All right? So, let us continue on with our conversations. Now, it's just crazy for anyone to think that he's not in any way, shape, or form involved in the demise of Celeste. It is so beyond me. But again, like I said, there's going to be some naysayers out there. Give it some time. Give it time. There were people out here in the true crime realm that were saying that Brian Kohlberger was innocent. You know, there's people still out here to this day that think that Thomas Crooks, the person who pulled the trigger on Trump in Butler, PA, Butler, Pennsylvania. Actually, they believe that he was just, you know, he was a plant. He was just a pawn, right? There are people who don't think that they have the right guy with this whole Charlie Kirk assassination as well. So you never know. The plot continues to thicken. Okay. Yes, there are people out here that will say, free R. Kelly, man. He didn't do nothing. He just made some songs, man. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. He wrote that song for me, man. He touched my heart, man. Free R. Kelly. There are people out there that are like that too. That's crazy. Do you understand? And if you ask me, R. Kelly got exactly what he deserved. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all be like, oh, so upset by me saying that, but let's be real. He got what he deserved. Moving on, though. Okay, moving on. We got some other things we got to talk about. We got some things to get into, y'all. We got some things. Now, one thing is for sure. Actually, you know what? Before we go into that stuff, let me pull this up, okay? Let's pull up Court TV. We got to talk about a little bit more of D4vd. Let's go.
Welcome back to Court TV. Let's switch gears now to Los Angeles for that high-profile case involving celebrity singer David Burke. Now, his hearing ended just a short time ago, and 1 year ago today, 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, that's the victim here, she was seen for the last time, and investigators say she went to the singer's house. And a newly released report from the medical examiner says Rivas died from, quote, multiple penetrating injuries after suffering 2 puncture wounds to her torso. Now, for more on what happened at today's hearing, we go live now to Los Angeles, where attorney Dina Dahl is outside the courthouse. Dina, thank you so much for joining us today. You were inside that hearing. You are our eyes and ears. What can you tell us came out of that courtroom?
Well, the defense continues to request a speedy preliminary hearing, highly unusual considering the mountain of what appears to be forensic and digital evidence that the prosecutors had. In fact, prosecutors say they have a significant amount of child pornography evidence on the singer's phone that they plan on handing over to the defense.
D4vd. Oh, D4vd. It's so, like, you realize that he has to, let's be real. He's going to have to try to find a way to explain that. You know that? At some point, he's going to have to explain that. Do you realize how nasty that is? Do you realize how mother-loving nasty that is? Okay? D4vd has to explain that. At least that. And do you really think his defense team believes if he was to be like, look at me, that ain't my content. Whatever they found on my phone, that's not mine. I was holding it for a friend. Like, come on. You don't think prosecution is going to ask him those questions? If he was to take the stand, which he gives me the vibe like he might take the stand, you don't think he's going to get drilled about just the content that was found on his phone alone? Guys, this guy's screwed. He's absolutely screwed. He's guilty. They might as well just, this should be, nah. He might as well just do a plea deal and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? He's done. Cooked.
Yeah, Dina, we heard DA Nathan Hoffman earlier this week talk about the totality of that digital evidence that they have against this singer here. Now,
that is the most intense emergency vehicle siren I've ever heard in my whole entire life. This is the most aggressive freaking siren I've ever heard.
You know, the family of Celeste Rivas did not attend. Damn. They say they are having, a tough time, of course, asking for privacy. But Dina, I know you've had a lengthy career in law. You've seen things like this before. I want to ask you, what stood out to you most from the newly released coroner's report talking about those puncture wounds?
Well, this was not surprising considering, as you said, the DA said that she was killed with a sharp object. Now, in the courtroom today, her family was not there. There were two young girls sitting next to the investigators behind the prosecution table. At the end of the day, scheduling was perhaps the most important element of today's hearing. The two sides have agreed upon a May 1st preliminary hearing, but they will reconvene the afternoon of April 29th to determine whether or not the defense feels as if it has sufficient evidence turned over from the prosecution to proceed.
Yo. You just heard that there were two people, sounds like kids, that were behind prosecution, behind their bench, behind their table on prosecution side. Could they have been other victims and other star witnesses that are going to be speaking out? That's not good for him. That's not good for him at all.
Absolutely. It gives the sentiment that today was a little more procedural versus going to the substance of this case. And we know it's a heavy case. We have the special circumstances, lying in wait, committing a crime for financial gain, murdering a witness to an investigation. It's just going to be a huge one once this, if it does eventually go to trial. Dina, you talked about the two girls sitting there. Could you give us a little more courtroom color?
Yeah.
Who actually was there? Did we see David? Did he have any particular demeanor or reaction to anything? What can you tell us in those regards?
No kidding.
Well, the courtroom was packed. There was a line going into it, and you had to be able to get there in time to get a seat. Actually, a representative from the media organization at the end of the hearing asked the judge yet again to open the hearings to cameras, and she denied it yet again. So these will not have cameras throughout the proceedings. David Burke himself walked in with an orange jumpsuit, sat down. His lawyer, Blair Burke, put her hand on his shoulder, and she did that whenever she addressed him throughout the hearing. He nodded whenever the judge said his name, answered it in the affirmative whenever she asked him a question. And at the end of the hearing, when she talked about the fact that he would have to come back at the next hearing, may have to wait, had to be on time, he folded his hands in a prayer-like position. Otherwise, we did not hear from him.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. And my thought, as you know, we watch this develop, usually the celebrity isn't the one who wants to get his hands dirty. And the fact they have that heavy charge of first-degree murder against him, I just find that very interesting. Dina, did the prosecution, you talked about the child pornography they found on his digital devices. Did they go into anything further regarding maybe timeline of events, or was that kind of the only thing they touched on as far as substance, evidentiary things regarding this case here?
We got a better idea of the volume of evidence they have collected over these many months. And the fact that they actually convened 3 separate investigative grand juries, one in November, one in December, one in February. The defense is asking for that to be unsealed, and it sounds like that will happen in due course. And then the prosecution saying that the search warrants collected 40 to 50 terabytes of evidence, that the robbery and homicide had already tried to transfer that over to defense over these last 4 to 5 weeks, and only about 30% have been transferred. They did say as of tomorrow, the prosecution will hand over to defense more concrete arrest reports, some of the search warrant reports, also chemical evidence, DNA evidence, giving us a glimpse to the fact that they perhaps do have DNA and chemical evidence they plan on introducing at trial.
Like I said, there's a lot they're going to be coming in with, and he's absolutely screwed. Let's just be completely real. Now, Anna, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. You're a product of your environment, so blame has to lay on her upbringing. Just saying. I mean, I would say a part. I mean, there's a part. There's definitely a part, but I mean, you know, you got to remember, something like this, no one deserves this type of treatment. You know what I'm saying? No one deserves this. this kind of experience. It's a terrifying thought that any person would ever have to endure what she allegedly endured. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is pretty insane to think that. I just think it would be absolutely insane to think that something like this. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I get it. All roads, like all signs, all roads lead up to, really, tragic things that happened here. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if we could just basically say, oh, it's solely because of, she's a product of her own environment, so on and so forth. I just don't think that means she deserves that type of treatment. You see what I'm saying? It's not only just that, I mean, like, I get what you're saying, but it's not only just that, which is, it's all terrible. All of this. Hold on one second. Happy days. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you. So 8 months law enforcement, let this guy stay free. Wait, what? Wait, I'm losing this. Hold on. For 8 months, law enforcement let this guy stay free to do God knows what after a child is found, with her head removed from her body in his car. That's not right. No, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I get the whole idea that, yeah, she's a product of her own environment, for sure. That is without question. But then there's another part, that there's more to this than just that. You see what I'm saying? So again, I get it to a certain extent, but I don't think that this is a situation where it's like, oh, rightfully deserved because of how she was raised. You see what I'm saying? And I think that putting all rumors aside, putting all the speculation about the parents and what the parents do and what the parents didn't do and all that stuff, putting all those things aside, I truly think that regardless, maybe the parents tried to do the best that they could. Think about that for a second. I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? You got a kid who keeps on running away, constantly running away. Constantly, right? You try to help. You try to stop them from doing what they're doing. You try to level with them. You try to be on the same page with them. You try to make them see eye to eye with you, only for that to just backfire and not work out at all. It's the same thing with kids and loved ones with addiction. There's only so much you can do to the point where you got to step away and have them go through the course of figuring it out for themselves as well. You see what I'm saying? It's not as simple. Like I said, I think this is a multi-tiered, multi-leveled kind of situation. And it's very, very sad. But I don't think we have all the answers just yet. But, some people will say that, though, that it's, this is her environment. This is the bed that she made, right? So she might as well lay in it, And I get that part too. I do. But I just don't think that is the answer to it all, Happy days. Thank you so much for the love. I'm saying law enforcement has a greater duty to protect the public against somebody like that, not to leave them on the streets for 8 months. Yes, absolutely. I agree 110% with that. Okay. Law enforcement has a greater duty for sure to protect those that are out there, because this guy could have done something during that time. And what if he did? And we just don't know about it, right? We don't know about it yet. Think about that for a second. We had a monster out on the loose for 7-8 months, just chilling in the cut, playing Fortnite and trying to write lyrics. Trying to find a way to, find his resurgence, arc. You get what I'm saying? So again, this whole thing is absolutely insane and extremely sad. But it's crazy to me that it took them 7-8 months to actually do something, to actually pick up their feet and do something and get this monster locked up. Pretty wild. And it's weird also that you have LAPD forcing the hand of the DA. Do you understand how crazy that is? You realize how crazy that is, right? You have the LAPD forcing the hand of the DA. So think about that. If LAPD didn't go over there and arrest his ass like 2 weeks ago, where would we be right now? Can't even say that. Where would we be right now? We'd still be sitting here going, remember that story about that Celeste girl? Whatever happened to that situation? We'd still be there right now, guys. Think about that. Ain't that crazy? That'd be crazy.
The judge made a point of saying to the defense that the defense does not have a statutory right to receive all of this evidence before a preliminary hearing, only before the actual trial. And the defense instead, though, does have a right under case law to receive evidence that's favorable and that could help determine whether or not probable cause exists. This is why there is the April 29th hearing, so the defense can decide whether or not they believe they have enough evidence to defend their client in a speedy preliminary hearing based on the evidence they have gotten so far from the prosecution.
And I understand she's probably getting thrown off by the protesters that are outside of the courthouse during this time. Remember the anti-ICE protesters that were outside of the courthouse right after David was had his first appearance, like his second appearance in court, right? So I'm sure she's like getting thrown off, like, what are they talking about? And she's of course trying to give the information, what happened inside the courthouse and everything. But it is pretty insane that we are finally in this situation, right? We're finally here, right? And of course, we're gonna see what happens here. It's pretty insane. Let's see. Somebody just sent something to me. I don't know what this is, though. Huh. Let's take a look at this. Somebody just sent this to me. So let's just take a look. This is a photo. Okay. Actually, hold on. There's more. So let me just check something. Okay. It's just two different photos. I don't think it's his car, but it's a Tesla, but he has like a couple stickers on the back of the back bumper. So I don't think this is it, but anyway, so I noticed this a couple months ago and haven't seen anybody say anything on it. But if you go on Celeste Cousin's Facebook, she has a photo from June 7th, 2025. She posted it every day until September 14th, 2025. In the photo, you can see it appears to be a black Tesla. Do we know at all what the license plate number for that Tesla is? Because if we go back and look, there's that unconfirmed kind of confirmed quote from her brother. So there's an unconfirmed kind of confirmed quote from her brother saying that he last saw her in June, which lines up with this photo, which puts me on the suspicion, and here's some, was it really June 6th or June 7th? Was she held captive until April 23rd, 2025? Could this have been a coincidental sighting of her cousin? So happened to be seeing David, if this is his car. Let's see what else. And the answer I really want the most behind this photo is what motivated her cousin Wendy to post this or take this photo. While I want to know, did she visually see Celeste in the car, or did she just see David But the fact that it's a black Tesla, that's too much of a coincidence to me, but that's just my personal opinion. What do y'all think? Diggity damn, that was one fat ass run-on sentence. Moving on. And yes, I know what we don't know for sure, that is David and his Tesla, but I feel like it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be. Maybe I'm totally overanalyzing this, but with how this case has been, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a possibility. I just feel deep in my soul that this photo would not be reposted every single day if it didn't mean something or have some sort of significance. Holy crap. Huge run-on sentence, but you get what she's saying. She's wondering if this particular photo has anything to do with David. Is this D4vd or not? I'm going to tell you, he has stickers on the top of his on the spoiler of the car. Okay? On the spoiler of the car. So I don't think that this is that. Okay? But thank you so much for sharing it with me. Okay? I just don't think that there's a connection with that at all. And I get it. Everyone's going to be looking at, maybe going back in the day to their photos and stumbling upon black Teslas and being like, oh my God, could that be D4vd? Anything's possible, okay? And there's a lot of black Teslas out in the world, okay? Just so you know. But thank you so much for sharing it. Appreciate Zero Saria. Thank you so much for sending it my way, okay? But nonetheless, we gotta cover some other stuff that we need to talk about. Okay, really quick, because there are some other things that are going on, and I do need to wrap up this show in a little bit, not right now, but in a little while. Okay, I'm gonna have to start getting some things, wrapping some things up here. All right, but one thing is for sure. All right, we are dealing with some crazy stuff overseas, and this is very interesting. I'm gonna be real. Some very interesting stuff just happened. Bibi Netanyahu, okay? Bibi Netanyahu has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. I am not kidding. Okay? He's been treated. He was diagnosed and treated for prostate cancer.
Now, another big story that we are getting information on right now is coming in out of Israel, as we're hearing from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying a short time ago that he has undergone treatment for prostate cancer in his first public acknowledgement of that diagnosis. Now, he said that roughly a year and a half ago, he had prostate surgery. Then 2.5 months ago, his doctors discovered and treated a small tumor over at a Jerusalem hospital with radiation therapy. That, of course, at the time, not announced. Now, he did post this on social media. Take a look. It says, "Today, my annual medical report was published. I requested to delay its publication by 2 months so that it would not be released at the height of the war in order not to allow an Iranian terror regime to spread even more false propaganda against Israel." He said that he was healthy and called the tumor a, quote, minor medical issue. Netanyahu's health was the subject of speculation during the early weeks of that war with Iran, with folks calling it fake. AI-generated images they are circulating suggesting that he had died, including on Iranian state media. If you were looking at Twitter and other different social media outlets, you could see videos of him getting coffee, and folks were kind of tearing that apart, saying it was not real and it was AI-generated. The Israel War Room posting this from Netanyahu, saying, quote, "I am in excellent health after successfully treating a minor prostate issue." He revealed that a very early-stage tumor was detected and fully removed through targeted treatment with no spread. The Prime Minister emphasized that he is in strong physical condition and urged the public to prioritize regular medical checkups.
So he's okay. He is okay. So again, that's what's going on. And I know there was rumors back in the day, people thinking that he was gone and everything was AI and all that. And there were some videos that were definitely AI centric for sure. Okay. Some things were definitely AI like a mug. Okay. let's just be real. And of course, we are now dealing with some very interesting stuff going on with what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz. Because now you got Pete Hegseth out here being like, we're gonna kill them all. It's the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. The stuff that we've been hearing recently. Okay, let's just be completely real. Pete Hegseth, with his crazy, war horny ass, he is literally out here being like, we are going to attack and we are going to kill them all. Like it is the weirdest thing to say out in public to the general public. Okay, so much that I got to commend TMZ. I'm sorry. TMZ, man. TMZ and what they said. It is insane what they said. We got to take a look at this because this is absolutely crazy. And I'm telling you right now, thank God that they were in the room. I don't know how they got in the room because you'd think that they would be like, TMZ's not allowed in this room, right? But they got in here. No, it's hilarious. I know some people feel some type of way about TMZ. We'll get over it. This part was hilarious. Okay, this is exactly what we needed. So, TMZ DC has gone international with an invite to the Secretary of War's news conference, which is very interesting that they were allowed to get in there. Real talk. So, and Jacob fired off a question that goes right to the psychology of war. So, Jacob and Charlie came locked and loaded with questions. The first being what goes through Pete Hegseth's mind and body when he orders the military to drop bombs on people and places. And I'm going to be real. I'd like to know too. Okay. Does he get a little tingle in his bottom? Like what's going on? You know what I mean? Does he feel an adrenaline rush? Power? Is he scared? It's really a mindset question about how he approaches war. He didn't really answer, but good job, Jacob. And these are the two guys that were in the room asking the questions. Then, of course, Charlie also asked a question as well. Then, of course, we're going to check out the video. This is absolutely crazy. And this is after he said out loud, we're going to kill them all. We're going to open fire on all the Iranian speedboats and we're going to kill them all. Like, it's so insane, the world that we live in.
Right here, new members of our press corps here. Jacob Wasserman with TMZ DC. We have two questions. I'm going to ask the first. My colleague will ask the second. I've heard you talk a lot about bombing. We'll see. Sorry?
We'll see.
Okay. I've heard you talk a lot about bombing people and places. And when you give these orders to carry out this extreme level of violence, what's going through your mind and your body? Do you have like an adrenaline rush? Are you scared? Do you feel like you're on a power trip? Just walk us through and paint us a picture of what it feels like mentally and physically.
I'm sorry. What? So what are you feeling? Do you get a little aroused? Like, you know what I mean? Do you want to bang something? Do you feel like after you hit that, send out that order, do you feel like you have to have a nice good stiff drink and a good smoke? What does it feel like? What's going on in your mind with this whole situation? Crazy.
Very TMZ question. My only thought process is to ensure that our warfighters have everything they need to be successful, defeat and destroy the enemy, and they come home.
But of course.
I want them to feel empowered, to have every authority they need within our rules and within our law to bring maximum violence to the enemy. Because war is violent. War requires doing difficult things, but I want our people to feel empowered, so it's our guys that come home and their guys that do not. Sure, I'll give you.
Okay, and that's crazy, but here I got to grab this. Thank you so much. TMZ was on Don Lemon. They got approved a press pass. That is insane. So you know what I mean? So the White House is probably like, no. Let TMZ in. Let pop culture come in really quick. Let pop culture news come in because, we need to look good. We got nothing to hide. Bring them in. Just make sure you got my good side. And, of course, they're asking these kind of questions. Ain't that crazy? Thank you so much for the super chat.
One chance.
Charlie Cotton from TMZ DC. You changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Would you consider changing the name again to the Department of Peace, since that's what we're all after?
Well, that's the pursuit. It's a great question, actually.
Here we go with his BS answer. Get ready, guys. This is what we're after. We're after peace. That's what we're doing. We're after peace. Okay.
You go from defense to war because you want to be proactive about peace through strength. And really, I gave a speech in front of generals about what the ethos of the War Department is all about, because I wanted to go through every echelon of this department. It means something. It's not just words. And when you fight a war the right way, the idea is on the other side you bring about peace. That is what we'd like to see the most. In fact, I once did a video about the one institution that should win the Nobel Peace Prize every single year is the United States military, because we are the guarantor of the safety and security of, not just of our country, but of a lot of people in this world.
Really? Nah, I don't believe it for not one damn second. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. No disrespect to anybody who's like, yeah, damn right. That's what we do. That's what the American military do. Maybe they used to. I don't know about now. I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. TMZ will officially be in the press room moving forward. Interesting. Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. You see what I'm saying? And the second question wasn't as bad. You know, it was kind of like a softball question for him. And he probably liked that. It's like, oh, thank you so much for asking that question about a Department of Peace. Right? But the first one, you know, it does make you wonder, like, are they really going to be able to come back after that? Yeah, Dios mío, indeed. Sí. Ay, Dios mío. It's bad. But again, that would be very interesting if TMZ's in the room. That would be very interesting. Okay, that would be very, very interesting. Well, so we'll see about that. We'll see about all that. All right. We will see about all that. Here's something else that is also very interesting. Iranians are actually heading to Pakistan for a conversation. Peace talks?
Expected in
Are we in the middle of peace talks, or are we about to see peace talks here?
Turning now to new developments in the Middle East. Government sources in Pakistan tell CBS News that Iran's foreign minister is expected in Islamabad tonight for an expected second round of talks with the U.S., where it's expected to take place in Islamabad. Meanwhile, earlier, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave an update on the war and the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz.
No one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour. We are in control. Nothing in, nothing out.
For more on this, we are joined by CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv. Charlie, you heard the defense secretary there saying that the U.S. is in complete control of the strait. What's the reality on the water there?
That's a very good place to start. The reality on the water might differ from the reality in Washington, D.C., because the U.S. military likes to use a statement called that the enemy has a vote. And the enemy, in this case, the adversary, is Iran, and Iran does have a vote. Iran has control of that area, the actual Strait of Hormuz. And I think what Defense Secretary Hegseth is referring to is the transit in and out of that, which is where the U.S. has got a huge amount of resource there. The USS Abraham Lincoln, maybe a dozen destroyers that are there, and they've turned back. I think when I was listening to that press conference, I think it's at 35 now, Iranian flagged vessels or suspect vessels. These are largely oil tankers that were either going to Iranian ports or going away from Iranian ports. So yes, the point is there's an element of self-sabotage, because the closure of the strait hurts Iran too. So if Iran were to try to let their own oil tankers go by, they are being stopped by the United States. And in addition to that, the U.S. military is actually surging more forces to this region. So it depends on really, first of all, where you're looking on the map as far as who controls the strait, and secondly, how it is controlled. The Strait of Hormuz itself is controlled by Iran. There's no arguing about that because they own that territory. They own that environment. South of the Strait, in the Gulf of Oman, and even further afield, I mean, there have been interceptions way far away from that actual, what Central Command area of responsibility. Further than that, that is the domain of the United States. So really what we're looking at, honestly, is a standoff at sea.
What else is new, guys? Here's the other thing too. Yes, Shanna, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. TMZ is starting a politics franchise. Interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised, to be really honest. I'm honestly not surprised. As long as they can, we'll see how it goes. You see what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. But that's interesting that they're going to be doing that. Here's the other thing too. A standoff is already happening. It's been happening. Now you got Pete Hegseth saying out loud, we are going to be attacking. We are going to be going off, and any speedboats that go anywhere near us, we're blasting them out of the water. So again, the fact that we're going, it's like a Mexican standoff. Okay, straight up. So again, this is not, we're not looking in, what we're seeing right now is not looking very good. So again, we'll see what happens here, but apparently they're supposed to be doing these peace talks, and apparently they're saying that JD Vance has been sidelined for these Iranian peace talks because he sends out Jared Kushner instead of sending out JD, the vice president of these United States. What in the hizzy is going on here? So JD Vance tried to do the peace talks. He tried to make a deal happen last time, and it did not work out. It fell apart. It fell the F apart. Now we're seeing this. Real talk. Now we're seeing JD Vance getting kicked out of the way to literally have his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who's not even part of the Trump administration at all, to have him spearhead these peace talks instead of JD. I'm telling you right now, hold up. I smell something weird. I smell something funky. Something fishy's going on here. Jared Kushner is taking over the spot instead of JD Vance. This is the VP, guys. You got somebody who has nothing to do with the administration right now, except for the fact that his father-in-law is the president of these United States, so he bumping uglies with his daughter, and he's going out. He's going out right now. What is going on here? They're about to make money. That's exactly what they were going to do. They're about to make some freaking money. You heard it here first. They are about to make some freaking mother-loving money. You understand? Do you understand? This is crazy. Let's take a look at this. JD Vance sidelined for Iran peace talks as Trump sends Jared freaking Kushner, who has nothing to do with any of this, and Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff is part of the administration, but Jared Kushner has nothing to do with this crap. But they're going back. Sans JD Vance. Is it about trying to protect VP from possible harm? Or is there something else going on? I'm telling you right now, something else is going on. That's just what I feel in my bones. I know some of y'all don't believe me. Some of y'all are going to be like, no, it's not that, blah, blah, blah. But something is weird about this. Oya manipulate market Friday. Iran said they not going. So again, what the heck is going on here? They say that they're going. Then now we're hearing, allegedly, Oya is saying right now that they're not going anymore. But this is the tale as old as time. We've already seen this. We've seen this story. Trump will be like, we're going over there. We're going to make some deals. Huge deals, lots of oil. And then what happens? Nothing. So then if they never planned on going, why are we here? See what I'm saying? The news is telling us that they got representatives on their way. Foreign minister of Iran is on his way to sit down in Pakistan with the likes of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. And then what happens? We're back at nothing. We're back at zero. Bupkis, zero, zippity doodah. Man. Following a spectacular collapse of high-stakes peace talks with Iran, VP JD returned to U.S. soil empty-handed. Now, he has been sidelined from a second round of negotiations in Islamabad, with President Trump planning to send special envoys, freaking Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, in his place for Saturday morning. So tomorrow they're supposed to be having this meeting, and JD Vance is still in America. Okay, he's still on American soil. So White House Press Secretary Caroline told reporters today at the White House that JD Vance would essentially be on quote unquote standby. So he's just going to FaceTime. He's just going to be FaceTiming with them if they need him. According to my understanding, VPJD will not go, at least not for the time being. The Iranians reached out, as the president asked them to do, and requested this direct dialogue. Yo. So they said, so the president is sending Steve and Jared to listen to what they have to say, she explained. Hold on, hear me out. So they said, hey, man. Hey, Don. How you doing? Doing great. Love it. How are you? You loving the oil? Loving the oil. We need to do some peace talks. And Iran said, yeah, no, we could. We could sit down. We could talk some peace talks. We all about that. You feel me, son? But here's the thing, though. You know that dude, JD? Yeah, your vice president? Yeah, he smells funny, and he keeps looking at things in our house, and we don't like that so much. So we don't want him there. You have anybody else you could bring in, though, instead of him? We like the other two. One of them smelled nice. You know, JD didn't smell so good. You know, we didn't like the smoky eye mascara. We weren't liking that Revlon stuff. So can you bring in Steve and Jared? How about that? But this is between you and me, all right? If we need him, okay? You feel me? You cool with that, Donnie? And he's like, no problem. I'll make sure he doesn't come through. What the hell's going on here, guys? What the hell's going on here? JD Vance has been kicked out of his own. This is part of his mother-loving job, okay? Bellin, thank you so much for the love. Pascal, don't forget, Trump's sons are backing a new drone company that is trying to sell interceptor drones to the Gulf states. How is this legal? I don't even know. How is this legal? You tell me, Bellin. You tell me, Bellin Nicole. How is this legal? Yeah, the family keeps getting paid. The family keeps making money, and everybody else around them keeps getting paid. Okay? But we all are sitting here trying to figure out how we can put gas in our tanks, put gas in our cars, and keep the lights on in our cribs. Ain't that crazy? Messi, thank you so much for the super chat. Jared is part of the administration, unpaid senior advisor. Yeah, he ain't. He's unpaid. My ass. Okay? Let's continue on with this, though. Okay? So they said everybody else can come. They cool. But that JD, nah, he could stay home. He could work on his mascara and make sure his face is beat to the gods. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Okay, crazy. Vance and his team had failed the last time around to secure the historic agreement in what was widely seen as the first real test of his vice presidency. So he straight up fell apart. That's what they're saying. They're like, oh, you screwed the pooch. You dropped the ball. You could have done better. We were hoping you were going to come through and do what you needed to do, dagnabbit, but you still dropped the mother-loving ball. So this is on you, JD, so you can sit back down on the bench, and I'm going to bring these two in, these second-string players, and make them my first-string players. Yeah, that was a pun on sports. Bars all day. But moving on, okay? So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Pakistan says the Iran foreign minister has arrived in Islamabad to handle talks. So it looks like they are talking. So the foreign minister, Aragji, hopefully I'm saying that right, will be accompanied by a small government delegation to Islamabad. So the foreign minister will then travel to Muscat and then to Moscow. Interesting. The purpose of this trip is to hold bilateral consultations, discuss ongoing developments in the region, and review the latest situation regarding the war imposed by the U.S. and the Israeli regime against Iran. So they are overstepping the vice president. And what the hell happened to Caroline's face? What is that? What happened to her face? That must be a glitch, right? Do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I see? You don't see that? That cannot be her face. Okay. She filler back in there? No, I know she's pregnant, but she didn't look like that 2 days ago. We just saw Caroline talking to everybody. She seemed fine. You see what I'm saying? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I was just asking. You know? That's a lot of filler, I guess. But still, here's the thing. They are overstepping. They are stepping over the vice president of these United States. Nobody else find that a little bit odd? And you got as Messi just said, unpaid, okay, senior advisor taking over alongside another person, another individual that's part of the Trump administration. But here's the thing. They were at those negotiations the first time too. They really were. So they straight up said, yeah, you stay and everybody else go ahead. JD, you did fine. Just stay. We're going to go. Unless they use this as an excuse like, his wife is pregnant. She needs to stay, so on. And, he needs to stay because she's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's the case. But I mean, I think that's a bunch of horse manure too. So something weird about this. No doubt something's weird about this. Okay? He's getting sidelined like crazy. That's weird. And that's not a great look. Because then when he goes and he tries to run for office, whatever position if he tries to run for presidency, for a fact, they're going to be looking at him hard. Like, yo, what did look at the opportunities that you just completely screwed the pooch on. You see what I'm saying? Oh, boy. What a mess. What an absolute mess. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just what I think. But we'll definitely see what transpires from this. But again, him being stepped over. That says something. I mean, just shooting from the hip. That says to me what Trump really feels about him and his negotiation skills. Maybe he wants to be a little bit more aggressive this time. I don't know. But we'll see if they succeed. We'll see if they succeed in this negotiation. We'll definitely see. But guys, that is the show, okay? I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for the love. Okay? Thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. If you could do me a favor before you head out, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, don't forget to hit that follow button, subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. There's gonna be a bunch of clips over there very, very soon. So make sure from today's show, so make sure you are subscribed over there as well. Hit that note, hit that like button down below. I know I just said that, but just do that again, please, if you can, on your way out. That'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, hit that notification bell down below. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We really have some great stuff over there, so go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you, stay safe out there, and we'll be talking here very, very soon. All right? Much love. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show.